Today we're going to be looking at a recap of the FIDE Candidates Chess Tournament of 2020 to 2021. So let's begin. We'll start with board number 1, and here we have the game Fabiano Caruana versus Ding Liren. And as we're looking at it from Fabi's perspective, let's begin. It's e4. Sorry about that. Let's go to here now. Let's just analyze their game. E4, E5. As you can see, the timestamps are over here because I have not made a game review video in so long. Or maybe I've done it from my analysis, but timestamps are over here. This is for newcomers. Knight F3, Knight to C6, and Bishop E5. We have a very nice Roy Lopez. A6, Bishop A4, we transpose into the Morphe's defense, and Knight to F6, putting pressure on this pawn. Now we castle. These days it's usual to let him capture here, because after rook E1, Knight goes back, you win back the pawn, and your rook's active. So that's the usual line today, but now is Bishop E7. He does not want to fall for that trick. First, he wants to play Bishop E7, so that even if this rook does get along this file, after he castles, it's pretty much useless unless he can start attacking the H file. Now rook E1, protecting this pawn, so there's going to be no more rook coming to the center, and now B5, kicking back the bishop B3, and now black castles. A4, B4. He does not want to trade off this pawn because this bishop still puts pressure on this knight, and now this rook could come in through here. But instead, we have B4. As the knight and bishop are both defending it, there's no threat of it being captured immediately. A5, and now D6. D3 and bishop to E6. Now attacking the bishop. Bishop captures, F captures, and C3. Rook to B8, and now we see knight B to D2. He's developing. I think he wants to bring his queen this way. I'm not a grandmaster, so I don't know how Fabi thinks. And now rook B5. Sorry about that. I think I accidentally hit the backward arrow. No, okay, this is not happening. Okay, bishop captures, F captures, C3, rook B8, and then knight B D2, rook B5. So he played rook B5, attacking this pawn. Now we have D4. So immediately striking the center, and we don't have captures. First, you want to eliminate the defender of this pawn, hoping to eliminate it. D captures, B captures, E captures, and C captures. Now white and black are fighting for the center. Sorry, not like that, because the pawns do not attack like that. I don't want to confuse people who watched my how to play chess video. So all the pawns are fighting for the center, but black has more active pieces in the center, and that's why he takes advantage of. He plays queen C8, lining up his pawn along this diagonal, lining up this queen along this diagonal, and bishop A3. Knight captures on A5 and queen C2, just simply improving the development. C5, and now E5. And now D captures on C5. If it's okay. D captures on E5, D captures on C5, and knight E4. Sorry, I think I went a little too fast. Knight C6, knight E4, wanting to trade knights. Knight captures, and rook D8. Now getting ready. If the rook moves, you can try to attempt some back rank mates. Rook A to E1, simply saying that I don't want to do that. I don't know why he couldn't have captured this. I don't know why Fabi did not capture this pawn. I think it was because he was low on time and had something else to do along this diagonal. But he didn't go for it. Sorry about that. that. Let me see what's going on. Okay. Bishop to f6, lining up this bishop along this very nice diagonal. And now h4, h6, rook 4 to e1. No, e3. Sorry. Rook d5, g4. Ignoring this pawn. This pawn is protected so far, so now you just want to expand on the king side. Queen e8, king g2, ready to bring this rook along this file. h5, g5, and bishop e7. Knight captures on e5, bishop captures on c5, bishop captures on c5, rook b captures on c5, and now queen g6. End of the. And now we trade queens. Captures, and e5. And now it looks like now Dingley runs off of time, and now he just blundered a pawn. Knight captures, rook. Oh no, he didn't. Sorry, I miscalculated. So instead he because if you want to do this, it looks like he hung a pawn, but actually he didn't, because at the end of the trade, rook captures on e5, and now Black's winning up an entire rook. So instead, f4 was played, captured, and it was not captured. Captures. It was rook d2 check. Rook 3 to e2, and now rook captures on e2. Rook captures and knight d4. Now the threat of rook captures on e5 is still here, but Fabi thought it was too risky. Rook e4, rook c4, king f1, rook c1, king f2, rook c2, king f1, rook c1, and now we end in a repetition. As you can see, it's a 3-4 repetition, and after this, the game was declared a draw, or if you want to say it in a little more style, you could say that both the players agreed to a draw, so this game was drawn, and now we look at the next game. Now we'll see the votes. I want to look at the votes. Looks like it was, sorry about that. Looks like it was 544 votes for Fabi, and 544 votes for Fabi, and 197 votes for Dingley Red. But it doesn't really matter because it's a draw, and now we look at the next game. Anish Giri against Maxime Bachir-Lagrave. We go back to the beginning. E4, and now we have a Sicilian, which Anish Giri was preparing. C5, and now knight c3, knight c, and now Anish actually surprised his fans. Instead, he could just go for a normal d6 line, but instead he went fancy. He surprised everyone with the old Sicilian variation, knight c6. We have d4, so he captures on d4, knight captures on d4, and knight f6. We have knight c3, and now we have e5. Striking in the center, playing the Lasker Pelican variation, and then knight b to d5. Wait, knight b to... knight d to b5. Knight d... Oh, he moved his knight here. Trying to occupy. Sorry about that. So you're trying to take control of the d6 square, and now Anish is a super GM. He does not let anyone take the d6 square. Instead, he just plays d6. Because now the queen comes into defense of the d6 square. Then you cannot capture the pawn. Knight d5. Now both the knights are operational, trying to attack the c7 square. And because Anish is a super GM, like I literally just repeated, he captured the pawn. Knight. And now he captures, kicking back the knight. And now instead, everyone would think, okay, just go knight b4, and you're somewhat good. And you could even go knight e7. But Anish surprised us all once again. He went knight b8. Wow. He doesn't even look like a super GM, people would think. But c4. And now, after bishop to e7, you see why he did that. He wants to castle and bring his knight this way. He doesn't want to make it go like this. He wants to develop this way and then horse it around to the other side. We have c5 now, and knight a6. Wow, another shot. We all thought he was gonna go. He was thinking of bringing it back like this, but it looks like Nishikori had a lot of surprises. Knight a6, pawn captures, bishop captures, and now bishop c4. This bishop is very nicely lining up along this diagonal, ready to attack. And castles. Castles, knight c7. He wants to trade off the weak knight for the strong knight. And now Maxim Bachir-Lagrave does not want to do. He doesn't want to capture the knight because it's weak. Instead, he'll capture a more powerful piece, the bishop. Knight captures, queen captures, and now queen f3. Somewhat lining up an attack. b6, and now rook d1. We have bishop to b7, and now bishop to g5. h6 and bishop to h4. Now we have b5, you cannot capture this pawn because the knight's defending it, so you're trying to push the bishop back. Bishop e3, and now knight a6. Still trying to pounce on this bishop because it's more active than that knight. Queen e2. Now attacking the pawn, so that even if he does go like that, you could at least gain a pawn and do all that. So he played queen captures on b5, knight captures on b3, a captures, so that this attack still remains. You get tempo, and rook f to b8. I actually want to analyze this move. I want to see this move right here. Rook f to b8. It looks okay. It's defending the bishop. It's lining the bishop up on the queen's diagonal, so that a move like bishop, I don't know where. There are no very useful discoveries. I think you could go here, but I think bishop captures on d5 is somewhat the best discovery, but no, it still loses. But it doesn't look that good. So even if you want to defend this bishop, I think you should have just brought it back and then let it go around this way. But I don't know. I'm not a super GM, so he played rook f to b8. And now f3, a6, pushing the queen back, queen a5, and rook c8. Finally putting on an open file, queen a3, now offering to trade queens and getting rid of this very bad double pawn. And as Maxim Bachir-Lagrave is also a grandmaster, he declines. He plays queen b6, keeping the weakness, and now bishop f2, attacking the queen. Queen b5 now, and now d6, pushing this pawn. Queen d7, and now queen a4. Bishop c6, attacking the queen, and now queen h4, pushing it to the other side of the board, offering to trade queens here. Rook e8, defending against that, and then now rook 8 to c1. Rook 8 to c8, rook c4, rook e6, and now bishop c5. This pawn is fully defended for now, because captures, you just lose the rook. Rook g6, and now queen f2, bringing the queen back, repositioning, rook e8, and now all of these are just repositioning moves. Just trying to remove defenders. And now we just get into this endgame where we traded all the rooks off. And now queen e2, bishop b7, pushing it back, b4, queen c, and now queen to c6. And now here both players agree to a draw, as there really is nothing more to be done here. Well, there was still queen e7, which would have kind of ended the game as it looks like, but no, because there's this check. Even though you get the check, what do you do after this? Like, you cannot push this pawn. You do not have a light square bishop. It's going to be very stupid if you bring your king in from either direction as the queens are still on the board. Well, if it's like double queens, then I think the king would be the best attacker. But no, right now this pawn looks like it's looking to promote, and it can't. So they just agreed to a draw here, and that's the second draw we're going to be covering. Well, it was kind of weird that they drew here because like it kind of looked like MVL was like in the lead as he still had this pawn pushed, but there's nothing we can do. The game's already over. So now we reach the next game. Wang Ko versus Alexander Grischuk. No, Hao Wang versus Alexander Grischuk, and now let's begin. E4, E6, D4, D5, Knight C3. We have a nice French defense. Knight F6, E5, Knight F to D7, and Knight C to E2. So far, standard stuff. It's pushing the pieces back. And now, C5. We have C3, Knight C6, and now F4. Bishop to E7, Knight F3, F6, Bishop E3, and black castles. So this is a kind of wonky looking position, like how the pawns are stationed, and all these pawns are just like that, this. Like everything just looks kind of weird. His king's out in the open. Well, White hasn't developed his light squared bishop yet. Well, he could do it in 2 moves and castle on the 3rd move, but what can you do? G3, Queen B6, Queen D2, and C captures on D4. Knight F captures on D4, and Knight C5. So just ignoring the threat. Because if he had ignored the threat here and instead just went for a stupid move, like a random move, like rook to D8, Knight captures, and it would have looked bad. But after Queen captures, you can here. It's not really that easy to play Queen B6 because you lose your bishop now. Doesn't matter what you do. Once you move your queen, the bishop falls, and you don't even win the knight back. So you're down an entire bishop here. So instead of that, we have Knight C5 is totally blocking any discoveries. E captures on F6, bishop captures, and Knight B3. And as you can see, Alexander Grischuk is already very low on time, and it's only the 14th move. Knight E4. Sorry about that, trying to catch my breath. Queen D3 attacking the knight, and Queen C7, bishop G2, knight D6, bishop F2. Safely defending the king and getting ready to castle either way. We'll find out which way he castles in the next moves. Knight C4, Queen C2, defending this pawn from being captured by the knight before. Sorry. And now we have Knight E7, castles, E5, F captures, and bishop F5. If he captures on F6. Here it was kind of looks like it's blunderish, but here he actually played E captures on F6. Because here if bishop captures, it's actually, I don't know what to say about what you do here. Let me see if I can find what you do here. Or even if you do put bishop captures, you come in with check, I think here. And the plan was bishop c5, I think, yeah. Captures, and now you have to run away. So you barely have any squares. If you play queen g5, then after the check, bishop f8. Actually, black is winning here, but I think E captures on f6 was just a blunder made on accident. Bishop captures on c2, and now F captures on e7. He just kept going for it, and now here he did not capture the pawn, even though it would have been kind of amazing if he did, because it doesn't win the rook. This does not win the rook. It only causes a rook trade, and as white does end up with the extra rook, it's actually kind of useless after king e7. Because there's really nothing you can do. There's no back ranks or anything, so it's just pretty much useless. F captures, and now he went rook f to e8 here. Knight f4, knight b6, knight captures on d5, knight captures, bishop captures on d5 with check. Now we're gonna see how Wang Ko was able to actually draw this game. Oh, I think the best strategy here is to go bishop, yeah, bishop c5, because it defends the pawn. And if you just play something random like bishop captures on b3, there's this checks. You go here, bishop captures, and now after like bishop captures, white is actually kind of winning here, but he isn't, but he kind of is. Rook captures. So this is what the line he played. Yeah, king h8, and now knight d4, trying to kick back the bishop. And now queen d7. There's nothing you can do about the bishop because it's actually. Oh no, it's not that. It was that they're so low on time. They're not even concentrating on what they're playing. Bishop g6, knight e6. Even though Wang Ko is down an entire queen, and they're only down to, and he's still winning on time, and he's actually putting his pieces in very nice squares. So rook captures on e7, eliminating this very dangerous pawn. Rook a to e1, and bishop to f7. Knight captures on g7, sacking. You have to sacrifice material now because like your knight's trapped. You just want to win it. Bishop captures on d5, rook captures on e7, queen captures, and knight f5. Now you kind of win this bishop. Oh, and here, here it's over. Queen f8, bishop d4 check, and now king here, king g8, and now this c captures on d5. Now h5, trying to get it back. But then all you did here is just simply play d6, and this game is actually drawn. King h7, there's nothing you can do now. Knight e7 is a discovered attack on the queen. Queen e8, trying to prevent a draw because you could capture the rook here, but that leads to it being a rook against a knight and bishop. And as Wang goes up pawns, it's not very pleasant to see. Knight e7, queen e8, rook f6. Now getting ready for now the rook, king, and bishop are counting on this king. Rook d8, and now bishop to c3, pushing the bishop back and keeping it safe once rook captures is ever played. Rook captures on d6, and now what? Okay. Rook captures on d6, queen captures on e7, and here it's actually just a draw. Rook d4, king d6, queen, and now a3 and queen e3 check. And here, I don't know what happened here. Wait, let me look. Oh, this game actually ended in a draw after queen e3 check. Because because let's say if you go here, this queen, it's very useless because this king is out in the open. It's a forced draw by repetition. No, it's a forced draw by perpetual check. 12 perpetual checks equal a draw. And so that's what happened. So there's game 3. And now here's game 4. No, so it was Yanni Ponishi versus Kirill Alexenko. And as he's a new grandmaster from Russia, and as he's the underdog here, his tournament is actually going pretty well. So we have the English opening, c4, knight f6. We have the Anglo-Indian, g3, e6, bishop d2, and d5. Knight f3, d captures on c4. It's actually very popular to accept the Neo-Catalan defense because you do pick up the pawn afterwards. Queen f5 check, knight b to d7, queen captures on c4. And it's still been played today. So like there are like another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, there are 1,000. There's still 1,000 games still played in this opening. Now, a6, 1,784, and now queen queen c2, and there's only actually 475 games that have reached this position before. And now after c5, it just keeps going. 99 games, 10 games, and now here 12 games have reached this position. Castles, 18. Let's keep going. So queen c7, developing a queen. Rook d1 and rook d1 and rook to d8. And here it turns out that in this position, there are only two more known. There are 6 games in the database with this. There's Pyotr Korobkov versus Ivan Provotorov. And that game ended with white winning in 2008. And there's Luis Gallego and Mauro Guminare. Okay, I don't know how to pronounce these wins because I'm American. But okay, so here there are 6 games, and now rook to d8 is not a known move. So as of move 12, we are in a completely new game. Bishop to e3 was played, developing the bishop. Knight b6, rook h c1, e5, knight f5, bishop captures, queen captures, and knight c4. Slowly improving the positions. And now bishop to g5, ignoring this threat, because if you do, you simply trade off the rooks. Oh, and now bishop captures, and here you have the very nice knight to d5. It forks the pieces, and eventually you win back. Oh no, not knight d5. Sorry, because I forgot that the rook was hanging. So here, first you need to defend the rook. So there's really no useful discoveries. So going back. So going back, keep going back, and now here after bishop g5, there's a rook trade. Knight captures on d1, so that the reason you put knight captures is because now this knight is pinned, so there is no knight captures on b2 ever happening. Now we have rook d8, bishop captures on f6, bishop captures, and now bishop to e4, queen a5, knight to c3, king to f8, and now knight to d5. d5, queen captures on h7, he left that pawn hanging, and now rook captures on d5, removing the attackers. Bishop captures on d5, and now queen d2. White is up material here. It's a knight for a rook. Queen d2, trying to keep the attack, and now rook captures on c4, giving back the material. B captures, and now e4. Sorry about that. I have the hiccups. Queen captures on b2, and now queen h8 check. King e7, queen c8, queen b6, and queen captures on c4. Queen b5, queen c7 check, and now queen d7, and now here, after queen c5 check, it was in this position on move 31. It was in this position on move 31 that Kirill Alexenko resigned the game, as there is nothing really more to be done here. If he ever goes queen d6, you automatically lose a pawn, and it's 3 pawns to 5, so this game is totally over. If you do something else, what else is there to do? If you go here, he only has 2 possible moves. We'll just review all of these quickly. Queen e8, king e8, and now the queen is pinned, so you lose the queen. And if you go king there, then oh my god. So now you gain material anyways. King here, and now after queen captures, you just you trade queens, and you just and white's just simply up too much material. This game is a win for white, as he is up an extra 2 pawns. So there you have it, the game, a recap of round 10 of the FIDE Candidates Chess Tournament of 2021. This is a round robin of 8 players, so we'll check out the standings so far. So here are the results. Yang Nipong, she is in first place with 6.5 points. Maxime Vachier-Lagrave with 5.5 points. Fabiano Caruana with 5.5, and Anish Giri also with 5.5. Alexander Gushchuk with 4.5 points, and Ho Wang with 4.5 also, and Dingli Ren and Alexenko Kirill have taken the score with 4 points. As Alexenko Kirill has is the newcomer, he got automatic, think it's a pretty good score for him. Actually, not newcomer, but he's an underdog. So saying that, okay. So that's a recap of round 10. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you soon covering the FIDE Candidates Chess Tournament of 2021. Bye bye.